let's start. Okay. So technically, this is like take three. So take three. But welcome to Borak Overseas B.O.S. Boss. So it's finally happening for the third time. That we are
Finally,
recording.
after all the technical issues we had,
Yes,
finally,
yes.
yes.
Yeah, like this is literally our third take of this very first pilot episode of Borak Overseas. I think people are definitely wondering again who exactly are these two people, talking to them, and why are we talking to them, and what do we have to say. So I think first of all, my name is Adria, and you are
I'm Mohan, guys. Hi, welcome to Borak Overseas, everyone.
cool. Yep. Mohan, maybe let's start off by, before we talk about our life journeys and whatnot, let's talk about what Bora Overseas is gonna be about, and how this idea came about. So, it's your I know you're the first person who started it, and then you called me to join you, and I crazily joined you. So maybe you wanna tell us what inspired the idea, and how you suddenly came up with it. Yeah.
So, Adria, remember I used to call you and just to annoy you all the time?
Yes,
Yeah,
you still
and
do
yeah,
that.
then yeah, when every time I call you, it's like always just from random topics. We talk about like our experience overseas and the life, how we have changed
Mm,
after we left Malaysia and what brought us to UK for me, and for you,
mm,
I think it's US and then UK.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, so it's about idea of sharing the stories of Malaysians living,
mm,
studying, working like uh, across the globe, whatever they are doing across the globe, like everywhere where they go, wherever they are making their mark.
mm-hmm.
So I think that's why I came up with this idea when I was on the call with you. Actually, that's when the first time the idea came to me.
Wait,
To
it
be
just
honest,
came to you? Like,
yeah, it
you
just
didn't
came to
have it?
me. Yeah, so I
Oh,
was like,
really?
yeah,
Okay.
that's like okay. Since we have a lot of like diverse experiences, why don't we just share all the stories about all the Malaysians that are living abroad? Yo,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I think I'm really shocked that you actually came up on it on the spot. I thought you read something or you saw something. Okay, but no, it was just
To be
talking to
honest, I
me, and then
was listening
suddenly,
to be honest, I was listening to a lot of podcasts. Then I was maybe there's this kind of topic that nobody has touched. I think maybe they have.
mm-hmm,
Maybe I haven't listened to all the podcasts. Maybe some of
mm,
them. But yeah, then I was like, why don't we just make one based on this? And
mm.
the perfect person I know to host this is
Me?
none other than Idria. Yeah,
Me
because
and
of
you,
your
lah. Okay, lah. I
energy
don't.
and
Yeah.
because you're into analytics and you like to analyze stuff. So I was like, okay, it's gonna be a good balance. So yeah,
Okay.
I was like,
Okay, yeah, but honestly, I think both of us together is more fun, lah. Okay, like doing it alone would be like shock scenario. So at least I got somebody to shock to, right? And you have somebody to shock to, which is me as well.
exactly. I just hope I don't make silly jokes like I always make to you. So yeah, but yeah, let's carry on.
uh, okay, yeah. To
I'll
be
try
fair,
not to.
okay. Well, to be fair, 90% of the things we talk about, we will laugh maybe like 5-10 seconds later, but it's okay. Maybe we should practice some form of seriousness since
True.
technically there are
And
times to be serious.
this is the longest time you haven't laughed actually since we start talking. So usually within a minute after that you'll be laughing non-stop.
Uh, okay, I take that as a compliment because I'm about to tell you why exactly I agreed to you as well, Mohan. I
Okay.
believe that day, when we came up, when you suddenly had this idea, we were talking about um, something about like job hunting and whatnot, and like looking for opportunities overseas. And then suddenly you're like, oh, let's start this whole podcast and everything. And I was like, for a few seconds there, I was like really thinking, do I want to start something like a podcast with Mohan? Because like guys, like you're just like so funny. You're just always joking. Maybe it's going to be a comedy podcast. Half the time will be me laughing at what you say, and then you
That's true.
laughing at what I say. Back and forth laughing here and there, and that's all we do, just laughing. But to be fair, the moment I think about it a little bit deeper, right, I was like, oh, like come to think of it, throughout my own personal experiences, so like I've met Malaysians from different places throughout my life journey so far, especially in the US. And then, now that both of us, by the way, are Malaysians on the street in London right now, we will tell you more a little bit why
Soon
we're
I'm
in
gonna
London
literally
later.
be on the streets. Yeah, soon.
Oh, what? Okay. Um, okay, I take that
It's just a
as
jobless
a
joke. Yeah,
to be delved
unemployment. Yeah.
deeper later. But yeah, so I just, going back to what I was saying, I realized that, I have met many different Malaysians with many different life journeys and stories, and some of which have inspired myself and, really opened my mind. And I just like, oh, for the first time, I think Mohan is saying something that makes a lot of sense.
Oh, the first time. Yeah, that says a lot about
Yeah.
me.
No, yeah, like literally that of the many things, we've known each other for like 6 months. What you said that night made the most sense. Of course, there are other things that make sense also, lah, but then this one made the most sense. And I was like, wow, I think I share the passion as well, of, going out and talking to different Malaysians and then bringing those stories to our listeners and our audience, right, who are most likely Malaysians either back home or maybe they are also overseas. And, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of stories that are very relatable and inspiring. And, so Malaysians overseas don't feel so alone. Malaysians at home will also, so that's how it's like, being overseas as as a Malaysian. So, yeah. And then we started, I guess, we started talking more about it. Then somebody started designing the logo. And then
Good.
all of a
Again.
sudden, we recorded this episode many, many times. And then suddenly we are here again.
Yeah. To
So,
be honest, like when we shared the ideas among our friends, and everybody wanted to actually get on it, right? Because it's like something that people want to be part of it.
mm,
It's because
mm,
like we can share, learn, and also
mm,
inspire from
mm-hmm,
all the different experience that
mm,
probably but from the stories we're gonna hear in the next
mm,
upcoming episodes. So
mm,
yeah, let's
mm.
just hope at least somebody get inspired, or it's
Yeah.
just, yeah, maybe it's a good time passing activity listening to our podcast, maybe the
Yeah,
least.
it's good. It's good for us also, lah. Okay, we need
Yeah,
something
true.
very beneficial to do with our life. So here we are. But yeah, a lot of people help came up with the name as well. But actually, by the way, is there a significance to the acronym BOS? BOS, Borak Overseas. For
To
us,
be hon-
you want to tell what is the significance, huh, Mohan?
uh First of all, she kept calling me boss.
Yes.
Adria, to the listen, yeah, Adria always calls me boss. I don't know for what reason. And second thing is like, so basically we came up with different names, but nothing was really catchy. And some other podcasts have similar names, I guess. So we just
Mm-hmm.
really wanted to stand out
With
from the
boss.
names. Yeah, then we stick to the word overseas for sure.
Hmm.
And then we just played around, and then we found the right word, boss. Bora overseas.
Boss. Okay, to be fair, we call each other boss. Okay, Mohan is my boss, and I am also Mohan's boss. But your question might be, who is exactly the real boss, right? Okay, let's not go there.
Yeah, shall we? No, no, no. I don't think
Yeah,
yes.
let's not describe who the real boss is. We're both bosses. We're the
Everyone
bosses
is a
of each
boss.
other. Everyone is a boss, right? Everywhere in Malaysia, we call each other boss as well, right? So, boss, there we go. Okay. Maybe people are really curious right now about our life stories, right? Now we just told them about what boss is. To be fair, we are Malaysians overseas ourselves, right? Like, I've been overseas, well, for certain periods of my life ever since I left
Oh,
Form
yeah, you're
5.
not old.
Yeah. Hey,
You're not,
okay, you know also lah, okay, but
not
of
a
course you are.
certain period of your life. Just maybe like a tiny bit of portion, I would say.
Okay, yeah. To be
Yeah.
fair, that is true. You also, okay, we are both not that old. Although slightly on the, okay, never mind. We're just not that old.
Okay,
Okay,
okay. Don't make me feel old on the first
okay, yeah,
episode.
we're just not that old. But I'm very curious about your life story as well, Mohan. I kind of know. I kind of know maybe like 60% about you, but I don't think I know every single nuance. Not that you have to tell every single nuance, but I'm pretty sure people want to know about your life journey and why are you
Yeah.
here podcasting and what
Sure,
exactly do you do for a living.
what do you want? You want me to even disclose my relationship status here or what? I'm just kidding.
No, okay, this is not a podcast about that. We can talk about that
Okay,
on the
okay,
ground,
alright.
but yeah, okay, never mind, just go ahead.
Yeah,
Okay.
so uh, I'm Mohan Kumar actually. Then you can call me Mohan. And yeah, I'm
Okay.
from Cameron Highlands.
Woo!
Yeah, the best place in Malaysia, I would say.
I will not agree with that, but continue. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, let's come back to that later. Um, yeah, I did my high school, born and bred in Cameron actually, and after high school, I moved to KL for uni, and then yeah, I did a training program, and then for my final year, I moved to UK to do law, and then after that, I decided to do the bar actually. So I did the bar in London, and then due to COVID, I went home, and then I got qualified back home. And then once I get admitted there, then I really was like, maybe this is time where I really need to focus on what kind of law I want to practice.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I was kind of into like energy law and like climate change and stuff. So I was
Hmm.
looking to learn throughout my uni life actually
Hmm.
for that. And there was no such platform to learn about it. Probably the
Hmm.
awareness of climate change back then is not as much as now,
Hmm. Hmm.
which is only like few years ago. And to be honest, once I found that Queen Mary has the program, then I was like, okay, let me just come back. And also, I miss UK a lot. Not gonna
Okay.
lie, yeah,
Okay.
not gonna
All
lie,
right.
I missed it a lot. Probably, student life and London.
Okay.
Yeah, London gives you the best student life, I would say.
Hmm. Queen
And
Mary is your university, right? Just in case
yeah,
people
I just
don't. Yeah.
graduated from Queen Mary. Yeah, to be honest, I'm still wearing their hoodie. So
Oh. Okay. So today is not the Malaysia T-shirt. Today is your university T-shirt. Okay. All
exactly,
right.
maybe it's my lucky
Yeah.
hoodie. Who knows? Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool.
and yeah, since then I'm trying to venture into ESG, climate risk,
Hmm.
sustainability, like
Hmm.
energy transition and stuff. Yeah, so
Hmm.
I think London is a very good place for those kind of exposure. It's not just
Hmm.
related to just uni life and like or the what do you say like the work life balance or anything they say. It's about all
Hmm.
about the exposure. I would say. You,
Hmm. Hmm.
you get to attend a lot of events and you get to network a lot of people
Hmm.
who are like the pioneers in the industry. So it's a place where I think I have to be right now, and I'm
Hmm.
glad I am.
Hmm.
But yeah, let's see where future holds. Maybe home is
Yeah.
calling. I never know.
Yeah.
But
Home is always calling lah. Okay, no lah.
for now it's Borak Overseas.
But now it's Borak Overseas calling
For
you.
now it's
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
For now
Yeah.
it's
Good
still
one.
Borak
Good one.
Overseas.
Good one. Good one. Hey, I'm curious. So, like, what inspired did you do some kind of did you work on something or some sort of a case that made you very interested in venturing more into like energy, climate change related law? Like, or did you just wake up one day like how you thought of Borak Overseas? Energy and climate change it is,
Yeah,
or how was it?
it's something like sparked after my A levels, I would say. So after my A
Oh,
levels, I think I was just
okay.
like trying to read about like the new areas of law and stuff like that. And then
Mm,
actually and then I read about it, and then I started reading a lot about energy law and stuff. And yeah, it really,
hmm.
I was like, wow, this is something that is going to be a big thing in future. And I think I'm right, hopefully. Yeah,
Okay.
so yeah.
I'm just
Let's
curious, if you didn't pursue your studies in like energy and climate law, right? What kind of field of law would you be in if you didn't do this?
probably I'll be still stuck in litigation back home in Malaysia. I wouldn't
Uh,
even have come back to UK, to be honest. I would have just
hmm.
continued.
So no regrets coming here at all. It's the best decision you've made so far.
Yeah, I mean I met you, Edrea. Isn't that
Okay.
great?
Amazing, very good. You're
Yeah,
not bad. Yeah, the most amazing thing you've encountered is me. Yeah, thank you.
exactly. Because
Okay.
you're gonna be doing the editing after this, so I gotta make sure I
Hi.
said
Okay,
the
see,
right thing.
now guys, you know who the real boss is. You know who managed everything very clear, right? Okay, joking, joking. It's an
I
equal
admit
split of
I'm
work.
lazy. I admit I'm lazy. So yeah.
Okay, let's just say I am good at execution. Okay, but not ideation. Oh, yeah, yeah, right, right. That's why we make a good, that's why we're good partnerships. right?
Makes
You come
sense.
with the ideas, I execute.
You're like the
So
first bencher who does all the work. I'm like the back bencher. Okay, call me when you need me. That's all.
but you come up with the ideas, okay lah. To be fair, this to me lah, at least I think it's actually a very good idea, and that's why I share your passion. And that's why I
All
decided
right.
to help you execute. okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Idrea, I think it's your turn
It's my
to
turn, okay, okay.
to explain why Cameron Highlands is not the best place.
Uh, okay.
No, I'm kidding.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay, so right now currently I'm also based in London, but let's journey back like like 7 years. Okay, yeah, 7 years ago to my life when I was still like from five and all that. So first of all, I am from the most amazing and beautiful state in Malaysia. Although I would say that every state has its own beauty and amazing, but to me, this is the most beautiful and amazing state, and it is called Sarawak. So that's why I would challenge you every time you think Cameron Highlands is the best place. I'm from, so specifically, I'm from Kuching. So I was born and raised in Kuching all my life until Form 5. So after Form 5, I decided to go to KL to pursue something like they call it the American Degree Transfer Program. It's kind of
ADP,
like,
right?
yeah, ADP
Yeah.
at Sunway. It's kind of like a foundation program for those who are interested in pursuing their studies in the US. But actually, you can also
To live your American dream, huh?
so okay, funny story is you might wonder like why US, why so I was very determined back when I was Form 5 to study economics. So basically there was this one time I think in like Form 4 or Form 5, I read this book called Freakonomics. Actually now it's quite a popular podcast also actually. It's called yeah, so but back then they had this like they basically have a series of books, I think three books. And I read that book and I was like, oh my god, economics is so it's so unique, it has a structure of how to think of the world's most complex and weirdest problems, right? And I was like, oh wow, that economics is like really cool, right? And also I thought that and sorry, the writers who wrote the book were both from the US. One guy is like some New York Times editor, and the other guy is an economics professor at some university in the US. And then I suddenly got inspired, like I really want to.
So
I
you
really
only had US in mind.
yes,
Oh,
because I read the book and I was like, I want to go learn from these guys. They're so cool. Like the fact that they can use what they learn and tell such interesting stories in Freakonomics. I want to learn from them, like, so I was very quite determined to go to the US. And thankfully as well, I have my family is very supportive of my they're very supportive of higher education in general and
okay.
my parents gave a lot to in order to send me overseas, and I am extremely thankful because I think it's really a privilege to be able to, like you and myself, to be able to have a chance to look outside,
Yeah,
and
true.
that's why we're here today. But yeah, going back to my story, so I went to study ADP at Sunway for 1.5 years. Then after that, I got a chance to go to the US to study in a state called Michigan, in a small little college town called Ann Arbor. So I studied economics and I decided that, statistics is pretty cool too. So maybe I should also have a minor in it. They go pretty well, economics and statistics, as you might probably guess. A lot of stats and
Spoken
analysis.
like a nerd.
Okay, I am a fearless nerd. Okay, actually, okay, sorry, I just said I'm a fearless nerd. Why do I call myself fearless? Because during during the first day of orientation in my university in the US, the provost, the basically the head of the university okay, was telling us that you guys are here to become fearless nerds, and I was like, I like that because that's gonna be me, fearless nerd. I like it.
So you felt home.
I felt connected to the idea of fearless nerd. So
Yeah,
I was like,
okay.
so yeah, that's why on my Instagram I also call myself a fearless nerd. So after that I studied. I was in the US for like 3 years, studying economics and statistics. And after that, I thankfully actually had a chance to work in the US as well. I got a job there, and I was working in a city called Detroit in Michigan.
Oh,
And by
wow.
that time, yeah, you probably heard stories about Detroit. It's it has high crime rate, but it's not as bad as it seems in the city center lah. The suburbs is pretty sketchy, but yeah. So I had a chance to work in the US for about a year, but unfortunately during that time it was the peak of COVID everywhere in the world. This was the year 2020, so I actually never had a chance to go into the office.
Office.
I just
Okay.
I just work from home in
So basically, you lived a
Detroit.
nomad life,
Not
a
really
digital
nomad lah.
nomad,
I had a
like a
digital
digital
nomad,
nomad.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, digital nomad, yes. But I technically had a place to stay. But I was staying alone in a city with not many people because everybody went back to their homes in the suburbs. So yeah, it was quite a to be fair, I think thinking about my whole life right now, which is not that long, okay, but I think that period of my life was one of the lonelier times of my life, like, because every day I wake up and every day I go out to do things is mostly just myself. So I really
Mhm.
had to face a lot of my own dilemmas and, like, not midlife crisis, quarter life crisis, that kind of stuff. But interestingly, I think during that period I also decided to get involved with a lot of things that are volunteering online for Malaysian students back home who are interested
Oh,
in pursuing their studies in the US. So yeah, the fun times. You find things and purpose in life even when you feel lonely.
I think you still
So
do that, right? The volunteering for students.
yes, I still do unofficially lah. I think these days I'm not as active as I used to. For context, this NGO that I work with is called U.S. Apps. Basically, they provide free, like, workshops and
Mhm.
mentoring for students who are interested in pursuing their studies in the U.S. So yeah, I do that some less actively this time. So yeah, I was doing that stuff for 1 year in the US. Then afterwards, 1 year later, when it was time to decide whether I got a visa to continue working in the US permanently.
Mm.
So how it works in the US is my company submits my name to the US government for them to decide whether they would basically they would put my name in a fish bowl, and then they would kind of like do a lottery thing and see whether I get picked or not to
Oh
stay in
wow.
the US. Yeah, so it's a
Oh, is
very
that how
nerve
US
wracking.
works?
Yes, it's a very
Okay.
nerve-wracking time for a lot of Malaysians that I know, who we all go through this, right? Where it's that
Mhm.
time, sometime around March, April. Oh yeah, it's right now. That time of the year where the US government will decide, through a lottery process, whether you get to stay or not. And it doesn't matter even if your company and your employer wants you to stay. It's all ultimately up to the lottery process. So unfortunately, I did not get picked. So I have to go home. Bye bye. So I didn't get picked. My employer was like, "Yeah, we are so sorry to hear that. Maybe let's try to find you a job with our company, maybe in Canada or Singapore or something." But
Okay.
nada. Nobody was hiring because it was COVID. They didn't want to take extra people. So I
Their
be
loss, I
recruited.
guess.
Yeah, yeah. US loss, yes. The loss for the
Yes.
US, yes, yes. I would have liked to stay a few years if I had a chance, but no. I think maybe I was never quite fated to go to stay there, or to do this whole American dream thing. There was something else waiting for me back home, maybe, and currently in London. Okay, but back to the story. So I didn't get selected. I tried to find another job back home, to which thankfully I got. So this time I had a chance to go into the industry of strategy consulting. When I was in the US, I was doing something more like finance and accounting. But then when I came back, I managed to go. I switched my industry almost a bit lah. Right, still
Okay.
consultancy, but this is more like business strategy type of consulting. So yeah, that was my new job coming back home. And that was the year of 2021, and and I had this job back in Malaysia for 2 years. And you might and most people might think that when I came home it was more comfortable, more at home and whatnot. But to be fair, when I actually came back, I felt like there was a bit of a reverse culture shock for me, because, like, well, first of
What
all, I had to
is it
get
because you were try to live your US dream in Malaysia or something?
uh I don't really know what you mean by living the US dream in Malaysia, Mohan, but
Okay, I'm sorry.
no.
I will talk about it later. Like finish yours.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, so no, not really. That was not really
Okay,
it. I think
is your story heading towards UK now, or is it still
almost there. I'm just okay,
okay?
almost there. Oh my god, my story too long, is it? Okay, almost there, almost there. Okay, I'm just saying that. Okay, I thought I would be comfortable coming back home, because then I was closer to my family and friends, even though my family's in Sarawak, but I had some relatives in West Malaysia as well. I thought I would feel more at home, but the truth is actually it was also very challenging and uncomfortable because I switched my industry. It was I basically had to readjust again to the working culture in Asia, in Malaysia again, right? So it was a challenging period for me as well to readjust myself, right? So I have readjusted myself going to US. Coming back also I had to readjust myself, but I think I learned a lot through that process, and I think I'm also a little bit wiser, slightly. Okay, not that wise
Okay.
also lah,
My
slightly
next
wiser.
question was gonna be that how did you face the transition of living in, like, US to Malaysia and then Malaysia to UK in a very short span of time?
I think you just gotta be
You gotta,
open.
yeah, you just gotta do what you gotta do, huh?
Yeah. I think okay. To be fair, take each day one day at a time, lah. I think when I first came back to Malaysia, coming from the US, right, I had this very big expectation that everything was going to be comfortable, everything was going to be much easier because now I have friends and relatives around me, right? But to be fair, there are other challenges going on as well, right? I was doing a new job. I was doing a new thing for the first time as well, and then I had to readjust to how things work in Malaysia, how the climate is, the weather literally, and also just how things are back home. Sometimes from a political standpoint, from an economic standpoint as well, right? So, but I think what worked well was that I never stopped trying. When things are not going so well for me, I always like, it's okay, let's try something else, maybe I should switch my mindset a little bit. And eventually I at the end of it, like, I was in Malaysia for 2 years, and then I decided that it's time for me to pursue something that I enjoyed a lot throughout these 2 years at my workplace, which was doing business analytics style of work lah. So
Okay.
so I decided to apply for a master's in business analytics, and I ended up here in London, right? Right now. So I decided to take sort of like a career break lah, to kind of reflect on my life and everything that I've done so far.
That's true.
And
Was Imperial? Sorry, you're from Imperial, right?
yes, Mon.
Yeah, I said yeah. Was Imperial your first choice, or is it because of the city?
It was my first choice.
You mean the
Yeah,
city or the uni?
the uni was my first choice. Yeah.
So the city is not your first choice.
I was quite flexible with the city lah, because I moved so many places in my life already, right? I mean, not that many lah, but quite a few number of places throughout my early 20s and everything. So I wasn't quite worried about which city it was. I was looking more towards what the program was offering, and I really like what Imperial had lah.
So far, how's your journey at Imperial?
Oh
Is it
yeah, it's been quite hectic because it's only a 1 year master's program, but I've got to say, like, London is so beautiful. I'm shocked, because when I
yeah,
first came here, I thought it was going to be like some like a US city that has a lot of tall buildings, can be very a lot of homeless people around, and a lot of very fast and bustling. Like, okay, it is fast and bustling like any other city, but the buildings are beautiful. There are not a lot of skyscrapers, to my surprise, and not as many homeless people as I thought. So I was like, oh, okay, it's a
that
little bit different. So okay, but yeah,
yeah,
that's
y-
us now. Then I
yeah.
met
I think
you,
that.
Mohan. Yeah.
I mean, that's the best thing about London, right? For now,
Uh,
just
I
agree,
don't.
just agree. For the sake of this
I
podcast, just agree.
okay, for the sake of the podcast, yes, but in reality, one of the many great things lah, not the only one.
Okay, I'm still glad I made the list. So
Yeah, you're still a great thing. It's just not the only one. Yeah, so okay.
Yeah, I think that concludes our sharing of our experiences, how we ended
Yeah,
up.
that was a little bit long-winded from me,
Yeah,
but you know, you'll learn more from Mohan and over the time as well, and from myself about different parts of our lives as we speak to different people as well. But
that's true.
yeah. So I think that's we've talked about Borak Overseas. We've talked about ourselves. Maybe let's talk a little bit about what we hope the listeners will take away from this, and also what we hope to bring to the podcast in the very near future. Yeah. So yeah, Mohan, what's your hope for everybody, and what are some plans? Yeah.
So, for a starting point, I would say living abroad has its own challenges, has
Mm,
its own, I would say, thrilling experiences. So basically,
mm,
it's you gotta see the pros and cons. So I
mm,
think by sharing the experiences of the Malaysians living abroad through this
mm,
podcast, I hope it can be a platform where we can learn and inspire
mm,
from one another.
mm,
And I mean, no matter where we are, not just UK, we are trying to
mm,
do across the world. So yeah, hopefully
mm,
this would be something that the Malaysians wanna seek when they wanna move
mm,
overseas or they are looking to go back home. So I
mm,
think this might help them in some way. I hope.
mm,
Yeah, and so yeah, join us as
mm,
we try to delve into the journeys of Malaysians across the
mhm,
world,
mhm,
and let's see how they have adapted, how they are adapting to
mm,
the life abroad.
mm,
I mean, out of Malaysia.
mm.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Adria,
yeah. I share the same passion, Mohan. Of the many things I disagree with you on, or think what you say is like very funny and unusual. But I agree. Yeah, that's exactly. I have the same hopes as well, and just a little bit of a sneak peek. We actually already secured some very interesting guests, right?
yeah,
Right. And
yeah, we
they are
have
not from
some.
London. I mean, some of them are from
I
London, but
mean,
not
couple of them are in London, but their
couple of them in
experiences are
London.
different. Yeah,
Yeah, but some of them have experiences from across the world, and we really hope to we ourselves, my Mohan and myself, both of us, right? We also, I'm actually
that's
very
true.
excited to talk to them as well, because I'm really curious about these people. You know, like how have they
Let's see,
adapted?
because we are not just talking to students, we are talking to professionals,
Yeah,
we are talking to
exactly.
business
Hmm.
people. So yeah, let's see.
Yeah, people from different industries in the different countries and continents in the world, right? Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's about it. This isn't gonna be a long episode in the first place. We are so glad that you guys dropped by to listen to both of us, and if you're watching us on YouTube, yeah, this is how we look like. We are just couple of like Malaysians on the street in London, trying to make full use of our student and our student and working professional and maybe unemployment
Job
lives.
seeking phase. Let's just
Job
make
seeking.
it.
That's
Yeah,
positive. I like it. Job
yeah.
seeking phase of our lives. Very good, very good. Yeah, and for me, it's student life lah. So okay. So yeah, thank you so much for dropping by. We are gonna, we'll catch you again. In the next episode. We're really excited. We're gonna start bringing guests the next episode lah. So we'll catch you guys there. And with that, I think that's about it. Anything else? We kind of covered everything
No,
already lah.
I'm just gonna repeat what you said. Basically, just thank you for everyone for joining in.
Mm,
I mean, to the listeners.
mm-hmm,
And yeah, let's discover probably the stories of Malaysians worldwide and see
mm-hmm.
where
Yeah.
it takes us. Yeah, let's
Okay.
hope for
All
the best.
right.
Thank you,
Okay.
everyone.
Thank you, everybody. See you guys, and selamat bulan berpuasa, and almost Hari
Yeah,
Raya soon,
selamat
to be
berpuasa,
fair.
everyone, and yeah,
Yes.
selamat Hari
Okay.
Raya. Hopefully, we record the next episode before that.
Yes, it will be
Yeah.
before that lah. So and then we'll try to visit before that. So
All right. Okay.
okay, cool. Bye
Okay,
everybody. Thank you
everyone.
so much. Bye bye.
Borak Overseas.
Bye overseas. Yes. Okay. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.